Welcome to episode 2 of our 2018 F-150 four-wheel drive build series. I'm Todd Henderson. Last time you got to see us put on some common accessories to get some everyday functionality of this truck. Now we're going to take it to the next level. In this episode, we'll be upgrading the suspension and personalizing our wheel and tire combination, but we want to make sure it can fit back in the garage when we're done, so we went ahead and pulled it into the garage to measure the clearance that we're working with, and we found we've only got 8 inches before we actually hit something. So I wanted to make sure we come in under that. That led us to the Icon Stage 5 suspension system with billet upper control arms. These are visible suspension components that aren't just eye candy, they command respect from people that know suspension. This is a bolt-on kit, so I don't have to do any cutting or welding. It only is going to raise the front end about a little over 2.5 inches, which is about like a leveling kit, but unlike a simple leveling kit, Icon suspensions are known to increase articulation. That means the suspension can flex about 15 to 20% more than stock, and that is what's going to help this truck better manage uneven terrain. This truck is going to be a daily driver and occasionally see some fun on the weekends. We're going for aggressive looks and off-road capability without sacrificing too much fuel economy. And the owner of the truck doesn't want to give up that ride comfort. So we're going with some 33-inch all-terrain tires from Vulcan. Today we're going to show you an overview on the passenger side, but we're saving the driver's side for a full step-by-step installation video, so make sure you check that out too. Well, I'm excited. I want to go ahead and get this thing into the stall and get started. The factory shock has a monotube design that's really spec'd primarily for driving on-road with a little bit of off-road capabilities. But if your factory tire is bouncing around on the road for an extended period of time, that shock can overheat and you'll start to lose stability and overall control. Icon has a monotube design with a 2.5-inch shock body that's much better at dissipating that heat. Add the piggyback reservoir and now you've got a shock that's able to handle much more than this truck will probably ever see. We also get the compression dampening control valve. Now this is the upgrade that brings your kit from a stage 4 to a stage 5. It allows you to quickly adjust the sensitivity of your shock so you can drive around town on the smooth setting, or you can progressively make it firmer at the turn of a dial if you're about to head off road or hook up to a trailer. Right, top and bottom are torque to factory spec. We don't have any kind of lift block to deal with. We can go ahead and start working on the front. Get this off of here, we can go ahead and pop that factory strut out. There we go. Okay, so let's talk about what Ford puts into the front of their trucks. This is a factory strut. It's got a twin tube shock body, and it's really great if you're driving on the road and some moderate off-road use. They do put it into a truck. But like I said before, it's not going to be as good at dissipating heat. So if you're on the trail for an extended period of time, it can start to overheat and blow out the shock. You can lose stability, and that's no good. We don't like that. Okay, so let me show you what Icon is going to be replacing that with. This is their adjustable coilover with remote reservoir. Again, to match the rear, we've got a 2.5-inch monotube design, so much better dissipating heat and much more responsive on the trail. We've got the remote reservoir, additional heat dissipation, got the compression dampening control valve. Now what's cool there is now I can adjust the sensitivity of the shocks independently in the front and the rear. So if I'm just hooking up to a trailer, I can increase the sensitivity in the rear. If I'm going off-road, I can increase the sensitivity in the rear and in the front. I also want to point out that Icon uses Eibach for their coil springs because of Eibach's reputation for a very consistent coil spring and an exceptional ride quality. Now, before we put this into the truck, let's go ahead and pull out the factory upper control arm. Okay, now let me go ahead and show you the Icon Billet upper control arms. These are really cool. First of all, I'm gonna talk to you about the delta joint. The delta joint is kind of like a ball joint that it replaces, but it's got way more articulation, a lot like what you would find in a uniball that's in race applications. But unlike the uniball, the delta joint is going to have much better longevity. Also, this top cap is removable and you can service it from the top. They give you a Zerk fitting so you can grease it that way, or you can grease it with a needle bearing fitting to give you that one too. So whichever way you service your vehicle, you can use that. Next, we come back to our adjustable Heim joints. Now, the Heim joints by themselves will move a lot more freely. Also, the fact that they're adjustable allows me to adjust the alignment from the top. What that allows me to do is I can go to my lower control arm and cam that forward to get better tire position. Then I can set my alignment at the top and have more advanced caster. More caster means more stability on the road. So usually when you put a lift kit into a truck and raise it up, you kind of lose caster and the truck ends up wanting to wander on the road. If you don't like that feeling, you want to return back to center real easy and track straight, then get something like this where you can adjust the caster forward. Let's go ahead and slide this in here. I went ahead and wrapped some paper towel around my reservoir to keep that protected while it's going in. Go ahead and get this button back up. All right, now I'll just go ahead and put the nut on the sway bar end length. We're not going to tighten that down until the vehicle is on the ground. It's kind of like putting the cherry on top right now. All right, well, these are some good looking suspension components. I can't wait to feel the ride quality and see how it performs off-road. Well, let's go ahead and get the wheels and tires on here so we can drop it down on the ground. There's a lot of wheels that will work for this setup. It really comes down to personal preference. The owner of the truck loves the look of the matte black Vector wheels from Fuel, so he went with a 20-inch wheel, 9 inches wide with +1 offset. That's gonna give him a little bit wider stance than he had factory. We've also got 5 inches of back spacing, so it's gonna clear everything on the inside. We've got them wrapped in Falcon Wild Peak AT3W all-terrains in a 275/60/20, which is a 33-inch tire. This does an exceptional job on the street, and it also performs well off-road. It's got some functional side grab. The tread pattern is more aggressive than your average all-terrain. Now, I know that somebody's gonna hit me up in the comments and say that we should have gone with mud terrain tires, and that's cool. I wanna hear about what you would do with your rig as well, but keep in mind the function of this truck. This is primarily going to be a daily driver. It's going to see some road trips, and yes, it's going to have some fun on the weekends off-road. This tire is going to be a great balance between the on and off-road demands this truck is going to see. All right, let's loosen this guy up. Already got my spray lube in there. Two. Let's go ahead and put it back on the ground and see how far we moved. Okay, perfect. Now that we've got the right height set exactly the way we want it on both sides, let's go ahead and set down the set screws, get this thing down to the alignment shop. Well, we just got the truck back. It looks great and drives even better. I love the feeling of control behind the wheel, and it still fits underneath that garage door. Well, that about wraps up this episode, but stay tuned because we're about to lose those chrome bumpers. So subscribe to our channel and ring that bell if you want to be notified when we release new content. If you want more information about the products on the truck, we've got links in the description below. And guys, let me know what you think about this build and what you would do. That's what the comments are for. So until next time, we'll see you then.